Hello everyone. Today we will solve one more problem on a continuous beam using slope deflection method. Okay. So here the problem I have taken is a little bit complicated compared to the previous problem. So see the problem I have written here, it is a continuous beam ABCD on which the span AB carries a UDL of 40 kilonewton per meter, and on span BC we have a concentrated load, okay, and on span CD we have a 50 kilonewton UDL. Now the span AB is a 3 meter, it is a 3 meter span. The span BC totally it is a 2 meter span where this load is acting exactly at the center, that is 1 meter from B and 1 meter from C, and the span CD is also a 3 meter, In this continuous beam you can see here the support B, which is simply supported, this support B it is sinking down due to some external loads. So this support it is sinking down by 2.5 millimeter. So in this situation we need to analyze the beam by slope deflection method, and we need to determine the maximum bending moments at the end and also at the span. Okay. So as it is sinking by 2.5 millimeter, they have given two values. One is moment of inertia I of the sections, that is 3.5 into 10 to the power 7 millimeter raised to 4, and the Young's modulus of the beam material they have given it as 200 kilonewton per millimeter square. So our first duty before imposing the slope deflection method is we have to convert this I and E value into the EI value. See here. So let me calculate the EI value. So E is 200 kilonewton, I value is 3.5 into 10 to the power 7 millimeter raised to 4. So this value yields to, it is 700 kilonewton meter square. Okay. So we have to use the EI value as 7000 kilonewton meter square. Okay. Right. So now let me start with step by step solution. Okay. As we have discussed in the last class, our first step, that is step 1, it will be always remains the estimation of fixed end moments. Okay. So we have to work out the fixed end moments for span AB, span BC and span CD, assuming both the ends are fixed. That is, see here, if I assume span AB both ends as fixed, I have to work out how much is the fixed end moments, that is MF AB and MF BA. MF AB and this is MF BA. So this load is 40 kilonewton per meter, and this span is 3 meter. So for this we have to work out the fixed end moments. So let us say MF AB. So as the span AB carries a UDL, we know that the formula to calculate MF AB is, it is minus WL square by 12. So minus W, that is the load on the span, is, it is 40 kilonewton per meter, into span of the AB is 3, so it is 3 square divided by 12. So MF AB yields to minus 30 kilonewton meter. So this is the value for MF AB. Now similarly we have to work out for the MF BA, that is fixed end moment at B. MF BA is equals to, as the load is same, so the formula will remain same, only thing is there is a change in the sign. It is plus WL square by 12. So plus 40 into 3 square divided by 12, which yields to MFBA as plus 30 kilonewton meter. So this is fixed end moments for the span AB. So now we have to calculate the fixed end moments for the span BC. So here also what we need to do, we need to assume the both ends of the span BC as fixed, which carries a central concentrated load of 100 kilonewton. The total span is 2 meter, so each will be the 1 meter, right. So here we need to work out how much is the fixed end moments, that is MF BC and MF CB, right. So as this span carries a central concentrated load, so the formula for the estimation of the fixed end moments is MF BC is equals to minus WL by 8. So it is minus W is here 100 kilonewton into L is 2 meter divided by 8, which yields to minus 25 kilonewton meter. Similarly, MF CB, it is plus WL by 8, so it is plus 100 into 2 divided by 8, which yields to plus 25 kilonewton meter, right. Now similarly we have to work out the fixed end moments for the third span, that is for span CD. So here also what we need to do, we need to assume the both ends of the span are fixed. Assuming thus, we need to work out the fixed end moments MF CD and MF DC. So this span carries a UDL of magnitude 50 kilonewton per meter, which has a length of 3 meter, right. So here if I work out MF CD and MF DC, MF CD is equals to minus, again I have to use the same formula as I used for the span AB. So it is minus WL square by 12. So minus of here W is 50 kilonewton, 50 into span is 3 square divided by 12, which yields to minus 37.5, which yields to minus 37.5 kilonewton, 37.5 kilonewton meter. Similarly, MF DC is equals to, it is plus WL square by 12 plus 50 into 3 square divided by 12 plus 37.5 kilonewton meter. So these are the fixed end moments for the beam ABCD. So here what we have done, we have calculated the fixed end moments for each span separately, right. So this is the first step in the calculation. The next step is to form the slope deflection equations. So we have to impose the slope deflection equations on the beam so that we can write the slope deflection equations. So here we need to remember this, that is the EI value is 7000 kilonewton meter square. Okay. Now before starting with the second step, we need to work out something, That is, we need to decide the sign conventions for the deflection. As this support B is sinking down, see, the dotted line shows the original position of the beam. Okay. So here support A is not sinking, so it means the support A will remains in its original position, and also the D, it will remains in its original position. But support B is sinking, so it doesn't affect the much to the support C also. Okay. Whereas as this support is sinking, so this support, instead of it is at original position, it will go down somewhere here. So because of this sinking, the span AB, it has changed its position something like this. Okay. And similarly the span CD has changed its position something like this. Whereas span CD, it remains intact, so it will remains in the original position. So there is no effect of sinking on the span CD. Only the span AB and BC are affected by the sinking of the support B. So let us say this is the B, and let us call this as B dash. B dash is the new position, that is the position of the support B after sinking. Now here what we need to do here is, so this total sinking, this is 2.5 millimeter, that is 2.5 millimeter, it is nothing but 0.0025 meters. Okay. So this is the value for the deflection or the sinking. As because of this sinking of support B, the span AB and span BC are getting affected. So we need to decide what is the delta value for span AB and what is the delta value for span BC, as their positions are changing. Now if you consider the span AB, so in the span AB, the point A remains in same position, only the B is changing. So as a whole AB, the beam is rotating in the clockwise direction. So the delta value for span AB is plus, it is plus 0.0025 meter. Whereas for span BC as a whole, the entire beam is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction because of this sinking. So the delta value for span BC, it is minus 0.0025. So this is delta AB. You can say delta AB and delta BC. So the delta value for span AB is plus 0.0025 meters, as the beam is rotating in the clockwise direction, and for BC span the delta value is negative as it is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. So by considering these two values, we have to write the slope deflection equations for all the span. For each span we have to write two slope deflection equations. Okay. So totally there will be 6 slope deflection equations. So let me start with the slope deflection, that is step number 2. Okay. Step 2, that is slope deflection equations. Right. Now, let me write the slope deflection equation for the first span. That is, we have to write the equation for finding end moment at A and end moment at B. That is, I need to write MAB. So, this is the slope deflection, that is finding the final end moment at A and final end moment at B. So, MAB is equals to, as we all know, it is MFAB plus 2 EI by L into 2 theta A plus theta B minus 3 delta by L. So, this is the standard slope deflection equation. So, I am making use of this. Now, here as per our step 1 calculation, MFAB is, it is minus 30 kilonewton meter plus 2 EI, L for the span AB is 3 into 2 theta A. So, here the theta A value is 0 as it is a fixed support. Theta B we need to work out minus 3, here the delta value for AB span, is 0.0025, 0.0025 divided by span is L, right. Now, if I solve this, I will be having minus 30 plus, okay. So, here what I am doing, I am writing the theta value in accordance with the EI, that is I am substituting the EI value as it is. That means I am not putting the EI value as 7000 kilonewton meter square, I am writing EI value as EI here as it is, but for this term I am substituting the EI value as 7000 kilonewton. So, that will be, it is 2 EI into theta B by 3 plus, so not plus, minus 3 by 3 it will get cancelled. So, it is 2 into 7000 into 0.0025 whole divided by 3, okay. So, this yields to MAB is equals to minus 30 plus, it is 0.67 EI theta B minus 11.67, call this as equation number 1. Now, we have to write one more equation for the span AB, that is MBA. MBA is the final end moment at B. MBA is equals to, it is MFBA plus 2 EI by L into 2 theta B plus theta A minus 3 delta by L. So, here MFBA value is plus 30. So, plus 2 EI by L is 3 meter into 2 theta B plus theta A value is 0 minus 3 into the delta value for again AB span remains same, that is 0.0025 divided by 3, okay. So, this equation yields to MBA is equals to plus 30 plus 1.33 EI theta B minus 11.67. So, call this as equation number 2. So, here as I have written MAB and MBA, these two equations, slope deflection equations to determine the final end moments, they both are related to the span AB. So, for both the cases, the delta value will remains plus 0.025, okay. So, when I am writing the slope deflection equation for the span BC, that is MBC and MCB, in that case I have to consider the delta value as minus 0.0025, right. Okay. Next we'll see. Here MBC is equals to MFBC plus 2 EI by L into 2 theta B plus theta C minus 3 delta by L. So here see MFBC is minus 25 okay, plus 2 EI by L is 2 into 2 theta B plus theta C minus 3. Okay, here the delta value will be minus 0.0025 by L is 2, right. So thus equation yields to MBC is equals to minus 25 plus 2 EI theta B plus 2 EI theta B plus EI theta C, then plus 26.25, call this as equation number 3. Similarly, let me write one more equation for the span BC, that is MCB is equals to MFCB plus 2 EI by L into 2 theta C plus theta B minus 3 delta by L. So here MFCB value is plus 25 plus 2 EI by L is 2 meter into 2 theta C plus theta B minus 3, the delta value is minus 0.0025 divided by L is 2 meter. So this yields to MCB is equals to 25 plus 2 EI theta C plus EI theta B plus 26.25. So call this as equation number 4, right. So these are the two more slope deflection equations for the span BC, that is MBC and MCB. Similarly, we have to write two more equations for the span CD. So totally there will be 6 slope deflection equations. MCD. So MFCD plus 2 EI by L into 2 theta C plus theta D minus 3 delta by L. So it is minus 37.5 plus 2 EI by L is 3 meter into 2 theta C plus theta D is 0, and also the deflection value for span CD will remains 0, as the deflection of or the sinking of support B is not affecting the span CD. And the theta D, that is the rotation at the support D, as the D support is fixed in nature, so there will not be any rotation, so that value is 0. So MCD yields to minus 37.5 plus 2 into 2 4, it is 1.33 EI theta C. It is 1.33 EI theta C. So let me call this as equation number 5. And lastly, we have to write the equation for determining the end moment at D, that is MDC is equals to MFDC plus 2 EI by L into 2 theta D plus theta C minus 3 delta by L. So here MFDC as per step 1 calculation, it is 37.5 plus 2 EI by L is 3 meter. So theta D is 0 plus theta C minus 0, as the sinking is not affecting the span CD. So MDC is equals to, it is 37.5 plus 0.67 EI theta C. So call this as equation number 6. So these are the 6 slope deflection equations, or even you can call this as the equations to determine the final end moment at end A, B, C and D. Okay. So we have to make use of these 6 slope deflection equations to determine the final end moments. But here if you observe all these 6 equations very carefully, in all the 6 equations you will find 2 unknowns, that is the rotation at B and the rotation at C, that is theta B and theta C. So we need to determine the rotation values for joint B as well as joint C, that is we need to determine the theta B and theta C values. So as in the 6 equations the unknown values are 2, so we need 2 conditions to determine the 2 values, that is theta B and theta C. So the next step is we need to write the equilibrium conditions at joint B as well as at joint C, as the unknowns, that is theta B and theta C, they are from the same location. So we need to write the equilibrium conditions at the same point so that we can able to determine the value of theta B and theta C. So step number 3. Equilibrium conditions. Okay. So here first let me write from joint B, I am going to write one equilibrium condition, that is algebraic sum of moment at B must be equals to 0, that is the sum of moments at B joint, that is MBA, this moment and this moment, that is MBA and MBC. When we add these 2 moments together, then the total sum should be 0, that is MBA plus MBC, it must be equals to 0. Now we need the value for MBA and MBC. So we will get those 2 values from the equation number 2 and 3. The equation number 2 is 20 into 1.33, 20 into 1.33 EI theta B, not 20, it is 30 plus 1.33, let me verify, 30 into 1.33 EI theta B, minus 11.67, this is the value for MBA, plus MBC is minus 25 plus 2 EI theta B plus 2 EI theta B plus EI theta C plus 26.25, this should be equals to 0. So this is the value for MBA and this is the value for MBC. When we add these 2 together, the total sum should be 0. So here if I rearrange the things, then it will be 3.33 EI theta B plus ei theta c equals to, I will get minus 19.58, minus 19.58. So this is equation number 7. Similarly, I have to write one more condition of the equilibrium at a joint C, so that I can determine the one more rotation at C. Okay, so from joint C, that is again same, that is algebraic sum of moments at joint C must be equals to 0. So here we have two moments, that is MCB plus MCD equals to 0. That is, you can see here the moment at C, that is this value and this value, MCB and MCD. When we add these two together, the total sum should be 0. Now we need the value for MCB and MCD. These two we will get from the equation number 4 and 5. The equation number 4 is something like this. It is 25 plus ei theta b plus 2 ei theta c plus 26.25. This is the value for MBC plus MCD. The value for MCD is minus 37.5 plus 1.33 ei theta c. This sum should be equals to 0. So here if I rearrange this, so it is ei theta b plus 3.33 ei theta c equals to, I will get it as minus 13.75. So let me call this as equation number 8. Now you can see we have two equations, simultaneous equations, that is equation number 7 and 8. So we have two equations with two unknowns, one is ei theta b and another one is ei theta c. So we can solve these two equations simultaneously to determine the rotations at b and at c, that is theta b and theta c values. Okay. So solving equation 7 and 8, we get. So you can solve these two equations using your calculators, or even you can try to solve this manually, whichever the way you feel comfort, you can do that. So if I do that, I will get the value for ei theta b and ei theta c. Okay, the ei theta b value is minus 5.09 radians, and the ei theta c value is minus 2.59 radians. So these are the rotation at B and the rotation at C. Now we have to make use of these two rotation values, that is ei theta b and ei theta c values, and we have to make use of the slope deflection equation, that is the equations which we have written in the step number 2 to determine the final end moments, that is step number 4. So here let me calculate the final end moments. Okay. So for that, what I will do, I will make use of the two things, that is the slope deflection equations from the step number 2 and the rotation values, that is ei theta b and ei theta c values from the step number 3. Final end moments. Okay. So MAB. So as per this step number 2, the equation for MAB is minus 30 plus 0.67 EI theta B, 0.67 EI theta B minus 11.67. So this is the equation as per the step number 2. Now here in this equation we have to substitute the value for EI theta B. So if I do that, so minus 30 plus 0.67 into minus 5.09 minus 11.67 yields to MAB as minus 45.05 kilonewton meter. So this is the final end moment at A, that is MAB, this value MAB. Similarly, using the equations which we have written in the step number 2, that is MBA, MBC, MCB, MCD, we have to calculate the final end moments for those values. So those yields to MBA, MBC, MAB, MBA, MBC, MCB, MCD and MDC. So we need to work out these final end moments. So they will be 11.54 kilonewton meter. So MBC, it will be exactly equal and opposite. So it is minus 11.54 kilonewton meter. Maybe due to the error in considering the decimal values, you may get some small variations like 11.54 and 11.53 or 11.52, like that. There is a small variations in the final values, but it has to be equal and opposite so that we can satisfy the equilibrium conditions. So MCB is 40.98, it is 40.98 kilonewton meter, and this is minus 40.98 kilonewton meter, and the last value MDC, it is 35.77. It is 35.77 kilonewton meter, right? So once we determine the final end moments, we need to represent them into the given problem. See, MAB, it is minus 45.05 minus 45.05 kilonewton meter. We need to represent this value into the main diagram. As it is minus, it means it is an anti-clockwise moment. So here I have written the anti-clockwise moment. So this will be the 45.05 kilonewton meter. And MBA and MBC, MBA, as per our calculation, we got a positive value. It means it is a clockwise in the direction. So I have written the clockwise moment, whereas MBC we got minus negative value. So it is an anti-clockwise moment. So we have written the clockwise and anti-clockwise moments respectively. So this magnitude is 11.54. It is 11.54 kilonewton meter. Similarly, the value for MCB and MCD. MCB is a positive moment, it means it is a clockwise in the nature, and MCD, it is a negative value, it means it is a anti-clockwise in the direction. So I have written the same thing. So let me write the magnitude. It is 40.98 kilonewton meter. Lastly, the MCD, it is a positive value, it means it is a clockwise in the direction. So this is 35.77 kilonewton meter. So these are the final end moments for the continuous beam ABCD, which we have estimated with the help of the slope deflection method. Okay. So now we have to draw the shear force and bending moment diagrams with the help of these bending moment values. Okay. Okay. Now, as per our calculations, we got the final end moments as MAB as minus 45.05 kilonewton meter, MBA as 11.54 kilonewton meter, and MBC as minus 11.54 kilonewton meter, MCB, MCD and MTC as these values. Okay. I have represented the same thing into the main diagram. With the help of these, we need to work out the shear force values, and also we need to draw the shear force diagram, and similarly we have to calculate the bending moment values, and we need to draw the bending moment values. Okay. So that is step number 5, that is support reactions, and we need to calculate the bending moment. Step number 5. Step 5, support reactions. Okay. So if I calculate the support reactions, then it is very easy for me to draw the shear force diagram. Okay. So here for the support reaction calculations, what we need to do, we need to consider the each span separately. If you see the problem very carefully, you can see that on the entire problem we don't have any horizontal load or not even the inclined load. So you can ignore the horizontal reactions. So I will consider only vertical reactions and moment into the calculations. Let me consider the span AB first. For span AB. Okay. So if I consider the span AB, so the span AB, it is a 3 meter span AB. It is a 3 meter span beam on which we have a UDL of magnitude 40 kilonewton per meter, and there are two end moments. One is MAB, another one is MBA. So MAB is 45.05 kilonewton meter, and MBA is 11.54 kilonewton meter. Now here we need to determine the reacting components, that is RAB and this RB. We need to determine the RAB and RB. So to determine the reactions at A and B, that is RAB and RBA, I need to impose the equilibrium conditions on this. So here let me impose the moment condition at A, that is algebraic sum of moments due to all the forces about A must be equals to 0. If I impose this equilibrium conditions on this free body diagram of the span AB, then you can see here this 40 kilonewton UDL creates a clockwise moment about A, and this RBA, it creates an anti-clockwise moment about A. And we have two more moments, one is anti-clockwise in the nature and another one is the clockwise in the nature. So here in the equation I need to consider all the four components into the calculation. So let me do that one by one. So however here I will consider the 40 kilonewton first. So it is 40 into 3 into acting at a distance of 3 by 2 minus, we have this reacting components, that is RBA into its perpendicular distance is 3 meter, minus we have this anticlockwise moment 45.05 plus we have this clockwise moment 11.54 equals to 0. In the entire equation we have RBA as unknown, so we can determine it very easily. That is RBA as 48.83, RBA as 48.83 kilonewtons vertically upwards. So this is the reacting component at B, that is RBA. Now let me impose the second equilibrium condition, that is F of y, that is algebraic sum of all the vertical forces must be equals to 0. So here in the free body diagram of span AB you can see RAB and RBA, these two forces are acting vertically upwards and this UDL is acting vertically downwards. So as it is the algebraic sum of vertical forces, we need to consider only vertical forces, not the moments or the horizontal loads. So RAB plus RBA minus 40 into 3 equals to 0. So we have the value for RBA as 48.83 kilonewton. Now RAB is equals to we will get 71.17 kilonewton, right. So this is the reacting component at B. Similarly, we need to determine the reacting components for the span BC and span CD. So before that, let me draw the shear force diagram for the span AB. So this is the datum line, okay. So as per our calculations, we got RAB as 71.17. It is a positive value, so I will take the line vertically upwards. So this is 71.17 kilonewton. So after this, that is after the point A, immediately we will come across with the UDL which is acting vertically downwards. So it is 71.17 minus this downward load, that is 40 into 3, which arises at is 48.83. okay. It is a negative value. Negative value means I have to go to the negative side of the line. So this is a datum line, it means the here value is 0. So as the load is UDL, the variation of the shear force value will be linear. So it will be something like this. So this value will be 48.83, that is at the B point. When we come to the B point, at B point we have a reacting force which is acting vertically upwards. It means it is a positive value. So RBA value is plus 48.83. So it is plus 48.83. So the total will be 0. It means I have to extend this line till the 0. So this is a 0 value. So this is a positive shear force, this is negative shear force. Okay. Let us repeat this for the span BC. For span BC, it's very simple. On span BC, we have only a central concentrated load of magnitude 100 kilonewton. Okay, it is 1 meter each. 1 meter. This is B point. This is C point. Here we have the moments. MBC as 11.54 kilonewton meter and MCB as 40.98 kilonewton meter, right. So we need to determine the reacting components RBC, and the RCB. Okay. So to calculate RBC and RCB, which we required for drawing the shear force diagram, so we have to impose the equilibrium conditions on this free body diagram. So let me impose the moment condition first, that is algebraic sum of moment due to all the forces at point B must be equals to 0. If I impose this equilibrium condition, then this 100 kilonewton creates a clockwise moment. So it is 100 into its perpendicular distance is 1 meter minus this reacting force, that is RCB, creates an anti-clockwise moment. So it is RCB into its perpendicular distance is 2 meter with respect to B point. Then we have one anti-clockwise moment, that is 11.54. Then we have one clockwise moment, that is 40.98. This should be equals to 0. So here in the entire equation we have RCB is the only unknown which we can easily determine, and it is equals to 64.73. It is 64.73 kilonewton. It is a positive value, it means vertically upwards. Now we need to impose one more equilibrium conditions to determine the RCB, sorry RBC, that is algebraic sum of vertical forces on span BC must be equals to 0. If I impose this equilibrium conditions, then you can see RBC and RCB, they are acting vertically upward, then consider them as positive, and this force is acting vertically downward, consider it as negative. RBC plus RCB minus 100 equals to 0. We have the value for RCB, substitute that value here, you will get the RCB as, RBC as RBC. We will get the value for RBC as 35.27. 35.27 kilonewtons vertically upwards. Right. So with the help of this, let me draw the shear force diagram. RBC as 35.27. So let me take this RBC vertically upwards. Okay. 35.27. 35.27. So after that, till this point we don't have any load. So let me maintain a constant shear force diagram. So once we reach here, we will meet with an 100 kilonewton which is acting vertically downwards. So it is 35.27 minus 100, which yields to minus 64.73. Minus means negative value. I had to come to the negative side. So something like this. Okay. So it is minus 64.73. So after this, till C point we don't have any load. So the shear force will remain constant. But once we reach to the C point, once we reach here, so we have a RCB which is acting vertically upward. So RCB is, it is plus 64.73. It means it is plus 64.73, which yields to 0. So here I will take to extend this line to the 0 point. So it is a positive shear force. This is negative shear force. Okay. Now similarly, we have to repeat it for the last span, that is for span CD. For span CD. Let me draw the free body diagram of span CD. So on the span CD we have a UDL of magnitude 50 kilonewton per meter. Okay. and it has two moments at the end. So one is 35.77 kilonewton meter and another one is 40.98 kilonewton meter. The span is 3 meter. So the reacting components are RCD and RDC. We need to determine the value for RCD and RDC. Okay. So what I will do, again I will impose the equilibrium conditions, that is the algebraic sum of moment of all the forces must be equals to 0 about C point. Summation of MC is equals to 0. Here this UDL, that is 50 kilonewton per meter UDL, it creates a clockwise moment about C point. So let us consider that value as a positive value. 50 into the span is 3 meter acting at a distance of 3/2 minus this RDC, it creates a anticlockwise moment about C point. So let us consider this as the negative value. RDC into perpendicular distance is 3. Apart from these two, we have two moments, one is clockwise and another one is anticlockwise. So this is anticlockwise moment, so it is minus 40.98 and this is a clockwise moment, so it is plus 35.77 kilonewton meter. So in the entire equation you can see the RDC is the only unknown which we can easily determine. So the RDC value will be 73.27. It is 73.27 kilonewtons, as it is a positive value. So we can treat it as a vertically upward reaction. Right. Now impose one more equilibrium condition, that is algebraic sum of all the vertical forces must be equals to 0. Summation of f of y is equals to 0. So here you can see from the diagram RCD and RDC, they are acting vertically upwards and this 50 kilonewton UDL, it is acting vertically downwards. Consider upward forces as positive and downward force as negative, then equation will be RCD plus RDC minus, as it is a UDL, it is 50 into 3 equals to 0. In the equation we have two unknowns, one is RCD and RDC. RDC we have already calculated as 73.27. If I substitute the value of RDC here in this equation, I will get RCD as 76.72 kilonewtons, and this is also a positive value. So now using these values I have to draw the shear force diagram. See here. So for this part, that is for CD part, RCD value is 76.72, it is a positive value, it means I have to take the shear force diagram vertically upwards. Something like this, it is 76.72. Soon after this reaction we have a UDL which is acting vertically downwards. So we all know that because of the UDL the variation in the shear force diagram will be linear. So it is 76.72 minus of this UDL, that is 50 into 3. So this yields to a negative value minus 73.27. So as it is negative, I have to take the shear force diagram to the negative side. Something like this, 73.27, right. So we are arrived at a D point. At a D point we have one reacting force which is acting vertically upwards, that is 73.72. So it is a negative value and this is a positive value. So plus 73.27 which yields to 0. So I have to end this shear force value somewhere here exactly. So this is a positive shear force, this is a negative shear force values. Okay. So this is shear force diagram. Similarly, we have to draw the bending moment diagram. So here there are two different ways of drawing the bending moment diagram. One is showing the positive and negative sides of the bending moment diagram values, so that is positive bending moment and negative bendings, and the another one is superposing the fixed end bending moment values with the free end moment bending moment values. That is something like this. So here what I will do, see, let us say this is beam A, this is B, this is C, and this is D point. So what I will do here is, first I will represent all the fixed end bending moment values, that is MAB, MBA, MBC, MCB, MCD values. So here what I will do, so MAB is 45, so I will represent something like this, a point which represents the 45.05 kilonewton meter bending moment. Next I will represent the moment at B, that is 11.54. So here I will represent one more moment, that is 11.54 kilonewton meter, and similarly I will represent the moment at C, that is 40.98. This is 40.98 kilonewton meter, okay, and similarly I will represent the last one, that is 35.77 kilonewton meter. So these are the final end moments as per our calculations. So I will join all these values. Okay. So here the variation we have to show it as linear. Whatever may be the type of the load, so the variation has to be linear. So that is the method of superposing the fixed end bending moments with the final end bending moments with the simply supported end moments. So here what I will do, I will calculate the bending moment values if we are treating both the ends of the span as a simply supported. That is, see, for example, for span AB, if I treat both as the simply supported, then how much is the maximum bending moment at the mid span? So we can calculate maximum bending moment as it is WL square by 8. It is WL square by 8. So here W is, this is 40 kilonewton per meter. So this is maximum bending moment exactly at the center. So it is 40 into 3 square by 8, which yields to 45 kilonewton meter. Similarly, for the second span, if I treat both the ends as simply supported, so for this load, that is for span BC, the maximum bending moment will be obviously under the point load. So if I calculate that maximum bending moments, so it is PL by 4. P is nothing but the concentrated load, so it is 100 into L is 2 divided by 4. Okay, so this is about 50 kilonewton meter. This is about 50 kilonewton meter. And the lastly, for this third span, that is for span CD, as it is also loaded with the UDL of magnitude 50 kilonewton meter. The span is 3 meter. Here also it is 3 meter. So I have to calculate the maximum bending moment. So here the maximum bending moment will occur exactly at the center, that is WL square by 8. So it is 50 into 3 square by 8, which yields to 56.25 kilonewton meter. So I have to represent these bending moment diagrams, or I have to superpose these bending moment diagrams over these. Okay. So as here both the ends are simply supported, so bending moment will be 0 at A as well as at B. We have a maximum bending moment which occurs exactly at the center, which is 45.45 kilonewton. Somewhere here it is 45 kilonewton meter. Because of the UDL, the variation in the bending moment diagram will be parabolic. So here I will show a parabolic load. And here for a BC span, the maximum bending moment will occur exactly under the concentrated load, and B and C, these two supports are simply supported. So it means the free end moment will be 0, and under the concentrated load we have a maximum of 50 kilonewton. So that will be somewhere here. As the load is concentrated, so the variation will be linear, right? And similarly for the span CD, as C and D both are simply supported, so these two will be 0, and exactly at the center we will have a maximum bending moment of 56.25. So somewhere here we need to draw 56.25 kilonewton meter. As the load is UDL, we need to draw a parabolic load. So this one is 50 exactly. Okay. Now here we need to consider this as the datum. This as the datum for the differentiating positive and negative bending moments. So whatever the bending moment below this, it is a negative bending moment, and above it is a positive bending moment. So this is a negative bending moment, positive bending moment, this is a negative bending moment, this is positive bending moment, negative bending moment, and positive bending moment, this is negative bending moment. So this is the second way of drawing the bending moment diagrams. So you can draw the bending moment diagram the way you feel comfortable. I have shown both the method of drawing the bending moment diagram. Even in some of the books you find this method of drawing the bending moment diagrams, or in some of the books you will find the method which we have drawn for the previous problem. So whichever method you feel comfort, you can draw the, or you can adopt that method for drawing the bending moment diagram. So this completes the analyzing the continuous beam ABCD which has a sinking support. Okay. So we have imposed the slope deflection methods, and we have analyzed the continuous beam. So finally we have come out with the what are the shear force values and how the variation of the shear force in the continuous beam, and also we have drawn how is the variation of the bending moment in the beam because of the loads and the sinking. Okay. Thank you.